Hey friends and family, welcome back to the Kinfolk Farm blog, and I just want to talk to you really quickly about what type of implement this is and how I utilize this in prepping the garden. Now, this is an older implement that was one of my grandfather's, and this is considered to be a disc bog harrow. And basically what this does is this creates what is known as large furrows or what I call side hills. And so basically where this harrow comes in handy is that it cuts really deep down into the soil. The discs themselves are about 24 inches tall. So this plow itself is very, very heavy. So you have to have a bigger tractor to pull something like this. This was particularly made by Taylorway, and Taylorway is an equipment manufacturer. They manufacture kind of heavy duty farm equipment and stuff. And so one of the benefits to utilizing something like this is the fact that the initial cut through the first couple of topsoil will be, it basically breaks that top layer of soil down. But you can't use this as kind of a finish harrow. This is not what this is. And so a lot of times I'll have to come back across after I've done the first couple of passes with this, because basically it trenches out. So I remember as a kid utilizing this to build up watermelon beds and places that we would plant on the hillsides. We would plant the watermelon, and then the vines and stuff would grow down into the valley. So a lot of times we'd come back in the middle, and this would be a great way to create a furrow for things that grew down like that, like a watermelon does. And so basically for this thing looks rough. It's all rusted out, but at the same time, that's just a little patina. That means it's ready to go into the soil. And so even there's some moss growing on it here. Let's zoom in real quick and I'll show you some details of what this harrow looks like. All right, so I want to give you kind of a close-up of what this looks like. This is the disc bog harrow disc that I was talking about. And basically on this is these big discs. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, so it has 8 total discs on it. So as we come around to the back, I'll show you what the back looks like as well. So the back is basically these large tines, and so it throws the dirt up into the side, and I can adjust it for the depth, and I'll show you that once we get it hooked to the tractor. But basically it's got these blades on it as well that keeps the disc from getting mud and stuff built up on it. So as these turn, and if anything gets onto the disc themselves, this will keep those discs clean. So it's just a pretty cool little plow. Absolutely love kind of working with this. We're going to take this, and it's a standard 3-point hitch that will hitch the back of any tractor that has 3-point hitch. And the tractor I utilize is the Kubota 44 horsepower. So the Kubota will handle this fine. It doesn't even know that it's back there. I've got an older Ford as well, and have used it with it. It's a pretty heavy plow, so you've got to have a little bigger. And this is not necessary for gardening per se, but it's good to break up that soil for the first time in a little while. And we're going to do that in just a moment. All right, so I'm over here, and you probably noticed that I have something on the tractor right now. It's actually a perfect time for us to talk about this. This is backing up to the cam here so you guys can see this. This is what you call a bucket scoop or a dirt scoop. People have different names for it. I always just call it a dirt pan. Basically, it's kind of like a front end loader. So I've set it down here, and there's my lovely assistant Meredith. She's going to help me out here momentarily. That's the thing about Kinfolk Farm. We love to involve our kids. I always try to make sure my kids are involved with me. So basically this is a pin for a 3-point hitch here. So basically this is a little hinge piece here that opens up, and then this is what keeps this drawbar on this 3-point hitch here. So we're going to pull this pin out, and each one of those, each side, we're going to do it for both sides. Pull them out, and we're going to come around to the other side as well. We're going to pull the other pin, and we're going to just set it up here on our top piece. And then we got to loosen up our center drawbar here. And basically I've got just an old bolt piece here, and we're going to unscrew that, kind of loosen this up to the dirt pan hits the ground. And then this pin here will pull straight out. And then I'll just throw my little washer back on there. I used to have one with a pin on the top too, but was bush hogging, and and lost it, so that's kind of gone now. Now that we got our pin set to the side, we're going to take our lever arms here and our drawbar extension. We're going to undo the pins for those and just let those kind of dangle to the side. And basically now we're just going to give it a good little kick. Boom, and that frees up this drawbar. Then I'll come around here to the other side and we'll do the same thing to this other side. Just give it a swift little kick. And now we're free and clear. So now let's go over and hook to that plow. All right, so basically we're going to pull around, and I know this is kind of standard, but if you've never lived on a farm or done anything like this, this may be all new to you, but this is how you hook up an implement. I figured this would be something interesting for people to know and to see the process. So I'm going to back up to that plow. All right, so here's the view looking back out of the tractor toward the back of the plow there. As you can see, my 3-point arms are a little too narrow. So I'm physically going to have to move those out a little bit before I continue to back up. We're going to hook our 2 lower arms to those pins there that you see. And then I will hook the 3rd arm here up to my center pin point. So inside the cab here, I've got a lever that controls these guys. So I can raise and lower those as I need to. So then we're going to let that all the way down. And then I'm going to extend that arm a little bit, and then we're going to back up there, and then we'll put our pins in, we'll pick it up, and we'll be ready to view the plow for the next step. So now I'm going to extend this arm out a little bit, get it to where it'll reach out to the far edge of that plow. Do the same on that one and kind of hold it in place there. And then I'm going to get back in the cab and hit my head on the door. That always is fun. All right, so now that we've got the implement kind of hooked up, I'm going to raise it up, and then we're going to set our stabilizing bars to the perfect spot so that there's not a lot of sway within the actual harrow itself. And so let me show you what I mean by that. We're physically going to lift the plow up now. I've got the 3-point hitches all hooked to it. We're going to lift it up in place. So right now I don't have any stabilizers in place. Those pins that I pulled earlier, we're going to put those pins back in place. So we're going to find a nice happy medium here. And I'm going to pin that side. So now it won't go up farther that way. I'm going to come around here and I'm going to pin this side. So basically now what we've done is I have locked it. As you can see, I can't move it far from side to side. So then the next thing I notice is that we're tilted back a little bit, like the plow itself is tilted back a little bit too far. I like to kind of start out with it fairly level for the most part. So obviously I can't move that because of the weight of it. So I've got to let the lift, I got to let the lift back down again. So we're going to let the lift down, take a little bit of that pressure off. And now what I got to do is I got to spin this and bring the back of the plow up toward the tractor so that the back of the plow is not sitting like this toward the ground. We want to bring it back toward the tractor a little bit. And that just kind of helps level it out as much as possible. And actually you want to go just a little bit past level. You want to go just beyond level, pointing toward the tractor, the harrow up in the air just a little bit. That'll be the optimal cut for your disc itself. And so that's kind of where we want to make sure that we're at for now. So now that I finally got all this hooked up, we're going to go over and we're going to begin to break up some ground.